Benjamin Cesco, ever since Ruben Amorim was sacked, has turned into a monster. I mean, that finish from him, that header was brilliant. And don't get me wrong, Bruno Fernandez' involvement in both the goals today, the ball to Cunha to win the penalty, the ball into Cesco was phenomenal. And look, I can see why Arteta was chasing Cesco for 2 years. I can see why Arsenal really wanted Cesco to begin with. You know, I can see it with Sesko. I think he might have the highest ceiling after Haaland in the Premier League. Between him and Ekatike, I think Ekatike all round as a player, yes, but as a finisher, I think Sesko is better. Bruno Fernandes was immense. But let's talk about Manchester United 2, Palace 1, because it exposes a scary truth about Manchester United. And when I say scary, not scary for us, scary for our rivals. Manchester United had the opportunity to go third today. And Manchester United went 1-0 down within about 4 minutes from a really, really silly falling asleep. Euro could have done better defending. And I just thought this was going to be classic Manchester United. How many times have we had an opportunity to go third, an opportunity to go fourth with a game that we should win, a game that we're expected to win? We fall asleep. We don't show up. We don't take advantage of rivals dropping points. How many times has that happened? So many times. But today, Manchester United not only took advantage of rivals dropping points, but they turned it around. They went 1-0 down and they turned it around. And even though I think we had a chances to make it 3-4-1 in the second half, and it made me a bit nervy in those final minutes, especially with two inexperienced centre-backs on the pitch, I always felt that we were going to win. Even though I was nervy a little bit at the end, I was just annoyed that we hadn't made it 3-4-1 with the chances we had. So why does this expose, for me, a scary truth about Man United? We're in third. All the teams around us have 2 games a week. We have 1 game a week. And what I think is scary about this is Michael Carrick's halftime team talk. Michael Carrick made really good tactical switches at halftime I'm going to talk about, but it was that team talk. We went from 1-0 down to a team that always beats us at Old Trafford in a game where whenever we have to win to go third or go fourth, we never won. We would get complacent. And we came out in that second half phenomenal, fiery. Even before the red card, we were on top of them in that second half. In fact, the last 10 minutes of the first half, I thought we were right, but that second half, and you know what? I want to talk about Mazraoui. I want to talk about Sesko. I want to talk about Bruno, but I want to talk about Mazraoui. Mazraoui came on in that first half, and he looked a little bit lost. And he's obviously just been thrown on. He doesn't really know what he's doing. He looked a bit lost. Him and Cunha were getting in the same areas. I think Cunha actually blocked one of his shots. And Mazraoui and Cunha were a little bit lost. Now, you've got 2 right-footers on the left. You've got no one that really wants to hold the width, to hold the touchline. You've got 2 players that kind of operate in the same zones. And the lack of balance on the left-hand side was obvious. Losing Dorgu, losing Shaw at the same time is a blow. We don't have a natural left footer. We don't have someone that likes to hold width on the left. And, that could be a balance problem, and that could be an issue in games down the line. And we clearly need a left back and clearly need a left winger. But in the second half, I think Michael Carrick sort of spoke to Mazraoui and said, this is what I want you to do. Simplified it for him. Told Cunha, you do need to go wider at times. And he made those tactical changes where instead of Mazraoui and Cunha kind of being in more central areas crowded together, we were using the width, we were using the space. And when you've got 10 men, especially, you need to take advantage of that space, especially the fact that Crystal Palace would be tired from playing a midweek. And we did that. And Carrick obviously changed Mazraoui's role, simplified it. And the game that Mazraoui had in the second half was excellent. The amount of control Mazraoui added in that second half was excellent. I thought Maino and Casemiro were phenomenal from the 30th minute onwards. I think, Casemiro's only downside is he should have scored too. I thought Maino was adding much needed control, and Garte can't get a sniff, and it's not one of those where we're thinking, oh, why isn't the Garte playing? No, we're not even talking about why isn't the Garte playing, because we're winning, because we're playing well in midfield. That's something we haven't seen in a long time. But it was, for me, the fact that Carrick had gone in at half-time, completely changed the mood, completely changed the approach in the second half, obviously helped by the fact that Crystal Palace are tired and the fact that they go down to 10 men, but we were on top of them even when it was 11v11. Carrick's turned that around. The players have changed their mentality, and tactically, I think he saw that Mazraoui Cunha quite wasn't working and was just telling them, use the width, stop getting in the same space. And this makes me confident that Man United are going to get Champions League football next season, and Champions League football will be what rivals are scared of. Rivals will be terrified about us getting Champions League football because without European football, we still had a good summer transfer window. We went 4 for 4 and we beat rivals to Cunha, Cesco and Mbuma. We beat rivals to them. Without European football, we've gone 4 for 4. We got Vivel making transfers, Champions League money. The fact that we had Paul without Champions League, we're now going to have Paul and money with Champions League. And for once, we're not going to have an idiot running our transfer business. Rivals will be scared. Rivals will be scared indeed. But we've got to talk about Bruno, because you know what? If Bruno leaves this summer, rivals will be a lot less scared. Bruno Fernandes is the first Manchester United player to provide 13 assists in the Premier League season since Antonio Valencia in the 11-12 season. Only David Beckham and Nane have done better in a single Premier League season with the club. Bruno Fernandes could potentially break the assist record. He put a really good ball into Casemiro, which Casemiro should have scored. Bruno should have had 2 assists today. Bruno should have 2 assists today. Bruno should have had an assist in that Tottenham game, that ball in the last minute to Cesco. Bruno should be on at least 15 assists right now, and there was one in one of the earlier games of the season where I think we missed this year. Bruno really has done enough to be on 16 assists right now. 7 assists, 10 games, bring it on. He's now in the 10 role. I think if he gets a game where he gets 2 assists, next game, that's 5 assists and 9 games. I think he could do it. He is the best player in the Premier League. He is the best player in the Premier League. He needs to win Premier League Player of the Season for me. He is, for me. The pass plays Cunha in to win the foul. That pass to Cunha, I know my grammar's awful on the screen, but that pass to Cunha, where Cunha wins the foul, and yes, Cunha dived a bit dramatically. It was a red card. You could argue, was the contact really outside the box? Could we have got a free kick? I don't care. He scores the penalty. He plays the pass to Cunha that wins the penalty, and that ball to Cesco. Not just the ball to Cesco, but the touch. And you know what? We were crap in that first 30 minutes, and Bruno Fernandes was single-handedly bringing us back into that game. We had 2 good chances in the first half, 2 half chances in the first half, a really good ball from Bruno into Casemiro, and a really good ball from Bruno into Sesko in the first half, which, I wouldn't say we needed to score them, but I would say they were goal-scoring opportunities. Bruno created 2 good opportunities in the first half. He went deeper, he got the ball, and Bruno, we were not good in that first 30 minutes. I was actually driving, so I barely saw the first 25 minutes. I was just having a look here and there, but we weren't good. But Bruno Fernandes single-handedly brought us back into that game. Single-handedly through his brilliance. Even when we were playing not great, he was the only one getting on the ball, trying to make things happen. And then all of a sudden, once Bruno got into flow state, once we got a goal, once we got the confidence up, the whole team started playing better. But Bruno was key to that. 105 goals and 97 assists for United and 317 appearances. 13 assists in the Premier League. Just to let you know, no one comes close to him when it comes to assists. 13. He's a different level. And when you think of we've underperformed our XG a lot of times this season, I think he should be on 15, 16 with, I look at, blatant assists that he almost didn't get. I think, we had a goal ruled out that Bruno would have assisted as well. I actually think that Bruno could be on about 18, 19 assists when I look at all the chances we've missed or goals that have been ruled out and silly calls like that. He is the best player in the Premier League. Arteta will be jealous. I see why Arsenal chased Sesko for 2 seasons. I see what Arteta wanted Cesco, but Edu actually went, they should get Gyökeres because he's more experienced. And I went, yeah, Arsenal, they need to win the league this year. They don't want a, young striker. They want an experienced striker that's going to hit the ground running right away. Cesco's better. Cesco's better than Gyökeres. Cesco's clear off the lap. Wow, we dodged a bullet. Never listen to Wilcox. Keep listening to Vivel. I think Cesco has the highest ceiling in the Prem after Haaland. Him and Ekitike. Ekitike all-round player better. Cesco's going to be a player. I think in 2 years, Arsenal will be looking to replace Gyökeres, and I just think Cesco could be that Ibra. Confidence has played a big part. The fact that we're playing more attacking football now, Amarin is left, has played a big part. But Cesco was great today. He got his goal. They're not easy goals to score. He's so good in the air. He's so good with his head. They're not easy goals to score, and he's scoring. He's scoring those goals, and he had a good game. His job is to score goals. He wins his duels well. He held the ball pretty well. He made a few box runs, and he caused the goalie issues. Benjamin Cesco is looking like a striker. You wouldn't get that from Højlund. Højlund made on 2 Prem goals this season if he was still in the Premier League for Man United. Cesco is looking so much better. I want to talk about the other attackers. Cunha is a game-winning player. I thought Cunha was having a bit of a mixed game. It was a bit frustrating at times. Sometimes he tries to do everything. Cunha could be frustrating, but the thing about Cunha is things will go wrong, but he takes those risks. And with Cunha, I look at the big games, Liverpool City, how he's holding on to the ball in those last 10 minutes when we're seeing out our lead. Yeah. I look at, how important he is in the last game as well, when we're seeing out our lead against Everton, how important he is. I look at the goal versus Arsenal, boom. I look at the goal he scored versus Fulham, boom. I think he scored a good goal versus Leeds, boom. Cunha scores good goals, he scores bangers. He comes and he assists. He gets goals, he gets assists, but he wins fouls to win the free kick, to So, like, I think it was the Fulham game. He won the free kick outside the box, which resulted in the 1-0 Casemiro goal against Fulham. He wins those fouls. He keeps the ball. He retains the ball. He wins the ball back when we're, hanging on to a lead. He has those worldy outside the box goals in him. Cunha's one of those guys where he could have a bit of a mixed game, but he might have that one action, and that one action results in us winning the game. Cunha winning the penalty and getting Lacroix sent off won us the game. That's what Cunha does. He just needs that one action, and he can win a game today. I want to give credit to Maguire. I thought Maguire was very good. He thought he was very steady. I think his downside, the 30 minutes was crap. I think Delo going forward is not good enough. I think we need a fullback that's very comfortable going forward. Cesco has 7 goals in his last 8 games. Cesco has seven goals in just 353 minutes, which is a goal every 50 minutes. Maguire was good. We need better fullbacks when it comes to attacking. I think Luke Shaw needs to be moved on. I thought Casemiro was good. I thought Maina was good. I thought Bruno was excellent. And Boomer going into the game. Ahmad. Yeah, let's end on Ahmad. Ahmad's cameo was great. Ahmad been getting a bit of slander lately. I think some was a bit unfair. But I really thought Ahmad's cameo was really bright off the bench. I thought that Ahmad was really, really electric, put in a really good ball that I think Xerxes thought he scored. It was a great cross from Palace. He forced Henderson into a good save. I thought Ahmad was electric. Anyway, thank you for watching today's video. See you next time. Bye.